is Mante, and I'm going to take you through some tabs. Yeah, setting your tabs right and doing some good spacing. Yeah, taking control of your spacing. Now, there's some really easy ways to do this, and one basic one is before you start your work, you have to go to your layout and this thing we see here, spacing before and after, you can choose to set them to the required points you want. So 10, 12, yeah, 6, 8. Now as you see that, you can see what's happening here. It's moving. Okay, it's increasing as I increase the spacing, and as you reduce it, it closes it. So it just tells you the gap between two should I say, yeah, paragraphs? Yeah, two paragraphs. So whenever you hit the enter, the gap it's going to create between those two paragraphs. That's what it means here. So some schools and institutions will set theirs to be 10, 12, but for UMass we set ours to be 0. So that's it. And another way to also do it, but we're not so strict on that. So another way to also do it is to go to the home, and we see this paragraph here. Yeah, and it's here that we're also going to find the indents and spacing, and also we can see our spacing here before and after spacing. And for this, it allows you to use it, and you can set it as default so that whenever you start typing, it automatically picks it up. And here you can also choose your spacing to be 1.15, 1.5, and for UMAT we use 1.5. So that's it. That's it. So that's also one way you can check your spacing and make sure your work is well spaced. Not necessarily well spaced, but make sure it's suiting the rules for your institution, right? That's very important. Okay, so that's it. This is not 1.5. So we can also quickly check them here, 1.5 as well. So make sure that's also set. And yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, not much. Now another trick you can also do is to, yeah, let's come here. When you over here, you can add space before or after. You can also remove space before or after paragraph. So that's also another thing that affects your paragraphs. So if you have your cursor here, or you have this text highlighted, okay, and you come to add space or remove space, when you remove that space, that initial 6.0 space created over here at the layout side, you see we have this before and after 6 points. Okay, it's going to ignore that particular space there, so it will automatically remove that space there. Same thing if you have your cursor here, you come there and then you remove the space, it's also going to close that gap. So that's also a way to manipulate the spacing between your paragraphs or between your text. Yeah, between your text, and it also works even in your table of content. Now if you didn't know how this table of content was generated, there's also another video directing you on how to, yeah, or guiding you on how to generate your table of contents and format it to suit what you see here, with all these being well indented to the right. And then you could see that that there's the first heading, yeah, and the second heading, and the third heading, yeah, it's sorry. Let's I always get that. Yeah, the third heading, you can see that it's just that from where you have the word, or the name of whatever heading starts from, not the numbers. Okay, that so the number for the third heading starts at the name right below it. So that's it makes sure it's in line. So that's it with the spacing. It's not much work. Now if there's something you really want us to clarify, or yeah, you can leave your comments, and I'll make sure I get to it. Now another thing I also want to talk about is your indentation. um, we have these two things here, right? These two is it shortcuts? Yeah. Shortcuts that we can use. So we have here, you can decrease your indent, and you can also increase your indent. So when you bring it there, and when you punch your first indent, you create your first indent. Now look at what's happening here. Now don't get frightened if you see this. Now all what this means is that it has not picked up a particular or what the indent has picked up is too big. It's way too big. It's way too big for the first indent. So you have to go and manually input that. So what you do is to go to your paragraph. Right here, you're going to see a small box down here. You click it, and you go to tabs, and you have to make sure the default is reduced to somewhere 0 0.5, 0 0.4, 0 0.5 is okay, depending on the um, yeah, the rules in school, depending on the rules in school. So 0 0.5 is okay. I can also make it 0 0.4, and you can also set your tabs so that let's say I want to set 0 0.2. I set it, and I want to set 0 0.5 as well. You set it, and let's say 0 0.75. That's also set. 0 0.9 will that be necessary? Let's just go to 1, right? And that is also set. And I click OK, and now I hit my first tabs. You see, it's cool now. Not that uh, serious or frightening push it did in the first case. So you can also manually uh, control the space or how much your text indents whenever I hit the tabs, or you click on these increase indents or decrease indents thing. Now because I set the first one to be 0 0.2, that means whenever I hit the indent the first time, I want the text to move 0 0.2 inches to the right. Yeah, or the direction that I want, but to move to the right. And when I also hit the indent the second time, you're also going to move further, right? So they're going to move 0 0.5 inches to the right. And when I hit it again the third time, it's going to move 0 0.7, yeah, so 0 0.7 times to the right. When I hit it the next time, it's going to move, I think, 1 inch, and it keeps moving like that. So you can adjust how many inches your text will move whenever you hit the indent. And yeah, I think that's it for indentation. Now, rulers, I'm also going to talk about that. That's also another way to do your indents. Yeah, it's really helpful, very very helpful. Now you have the first line indent there. If you bring your cursor up there, you're going to see the name coming, and you also see the hanging indent. The hanging indent is the rest of the line aside the first line. So for every paragraph, this is a paragraph, okay, just because I hit enter at this side, so this is going to be recognized by Word as a paragraph. So with this first paragraph, the first line there is my first line. And then any other line, whether if there are 10 lines, so far as I'm not hitting enter, they all become the hanging indent, right? They all become the hanging indent. So you can move the first line to the right, and it's also going to um, you can see you can easily adjust it how much it moves. Okay, so that's what's happening here. And now if you want to move multiple lines, it's possible. All you have to do is highlight them, and it's also a good way to do that for your references. Now you're gonna highlight them and then just move first one, and then it's only the first lines that are going to move. Now, what if you want to move the second lines? Then you come to the hanging indent and you move that one, and then it's the rest of the line, not the second, not only the second, but the second, third, fourth. So far as you've not hit enter, and it's for us it's the same paragraph, they're all going to move together. Okay, now if you want the entire text to move, then you have to move this little box here, and then everything else will move. Okay, so that's also one cool way to do your indentation and your spacing. So I hope this video was helpful. If you would like to leave any comments, be sure to leave them, and I'll make sure I get to it. Thank you. Bye.